All right, peace, everyone.
Peace, peace, peace. We
Peace,
are
peace.
live. Welcome to my TV-DMV. Today is Thursday, July 27th, and we are back again. I hope everybody is having a good week, a great week. We are here, Abdullah Bey, and we're going to start.
Shem will be on later, as usual.
Yes, Shem will be on a little later. I wanted to start off talking about this Ron DeSantis. Hi, everybody in the chat. Saeed and Supreme. Peace, peace, peace. About Ron DeSantis. And let me just pull up something really quick. Florida GOP Representative Byron Donalds clashes with DeSantis administration over new teaching standards. The only quote unquote Black Republican member of Florida's congressional delegation tussled online with the DeSantis administration Wednesday over newly adopted teaching standards that require middle schoolers learn that some quote African Americans benefited from slavery. And I don't even want to read the whole thing, and I don't even want to keep this up any longer because
read the second paragraph though.
The second paragraph.
Yes.
Okay. Representative Byron Donalds, a Republican in Florida, a sophomore Republican and former state representative who endorsed former President Donald Trump for president, posted on social media early Wednesday morning that the attempt to feature the personal benefits of slavery is wrong and needs to be adjusted. Donalds said in his tweet that the new quote, African American learning standards generally are robust and accurate. He added that highlighting the benefits of slavery was not the goal. I have faith the FLDOE will correct this, he said. Later Wednesday, Florida Department of Education Commissioner Manny Diaz said the state will not change the teaching standards at the behest of a woke White House, nor at the behest of a supposedly conservative congressman. Governor DeSantis' spokesperson, Jeremy Redfern, also attacked Donalds, posting on social media that supposed conservatives in the federal government are pushing the same false narrative that originated from the White House. Maybe the congressman should not swing for the liberal media fences like the vice president. Florida's new teaching standards faced a huge backlash since approved last week, with Democrats and civil rights leaders condemning the state and the DeSantis administration. Vice President Kamala Harris last week visited Jacksonville to castigate Florida's education officials, while civil rights leaders hinted this week that they may sue the state. The Florida Department of Education adopted new teaching standards for middle schoolers to learn that slaves developed skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. The standard will be a new Black history curriculum for Florida students. And this is from political.
So how would Abdullah Bey address this? All right. We're gonna first address the word slave, right? Because they mentioned slaves, referring to us as slaves. The etymology of slave is an Eastern European nationality, a Slav. So slave is the modern English form of a Slav or Slav. It's an Eastern European nationality. So the Slavic people, that would include those in the Baltic state, Czechoslovakia, Hungarian, those are slaves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how did it gain its modern connotated meaning? The Russians had the Slavic people in captivity. So the act of oppressing the Russians' act of oppressing the Slavic people became the modern connotated meaning. People held in captivity, forced servitude. So we're not descendant slaves. because we're not Slavic people. So that has to be cleared up. All right. All right. Secondly, they write about slavery as if it's a past action, and a settled action, a past condition and settled, as if we're no longer, in captivity or a bondage and servitude. That they write as if we've been freed, been restored. So that is not the case. So slavery is still going on. It never ended. It's not a past condition that has been settled. It's a current condition yet to be settled. What do you mean by that, Abdullah? We talked about 7 weeks ago, Najma, when we talked about, you raised the question about reparations. And and in discussing and addressing reparations, I also brought up the issue of post-millennium. So this is fitting to bring up post-millennium, because the only way for me to explain it, I have to raise the issue of post-millennium. Post-millennium, POSTLMINIUM, post-millennium is returning to the threshold, post, after, limin, threshold or boundary. So the post-millennium is when you return to the threshold as if you've never been conquered. You're restored, made whole, as if you had never been conquered. So post-millennium is the international law principle of restoration. All right. Let me give this example. The France conquers China. France conquers China and holds the Chinese people in captivity for 100 years. Now, so France drafts legislation that the Chinese people are free. But France is still there, though, in China. Like, France drafts legislation that we ending slavery. France still stays there, remains in China. France remains in China and continues to control the land and resources. France, continues to rule over the people. How does slavery ended in China? And how did France end slavery in China? And then so France legislates, we're going to make it. The issue is that we don't know who we are. There's nothing in international law that anyone in the world can show me in the world that what the United States did. The 1865, 1863 Emancipation Proclamation, 1865 13th Amendment, 1868 14th Amendment, 1870 15th Amendment. That's not restoring a people. You hold the French people. France holds the Chinese people in captivity. So the Chinese people right to self-determination. So France is determining the destiny of the Chinese people.
Right.
The Chinese people been held in French slavery and captivity for 100 years. So they're in a state of dependency. They have not been restored. They have not made decisions for themselves for 100 years. And then so let's talk United States. Our people have not made decisions for themselves. They're destitute. They're in a state of captivity. They're not speaking for themselves. They're not in a position of power to sit at the table with the United States. United States is making decisions on a people they hold in captivity. They didn't take us out of captivity and then made us whole, returned us to military power, sovereign power, and then now we're in a full capacity to govern our own affairs, to make our own decisions, and now we can sit at the table. We can sit at the table now. That didn't happen. We don't know. One, we don't know who we are. We don't know international law. We don't know principles of nationality and the law of nationality. So we have a people, and most of our people, all right, attorneys. Let's talk about attorneys. 100,000 attorneys classified as Negro, color, black are not even on the level I'm talking right now. 100,000. Shem Bey, 100,000 attorneys classified Negro, color, black. It's not even. It's like that's grade school. They don't have the knowledge of nationality, the political knowledge of nationality.
Right.
They don't have the knowledge of true history. They don't have the knowledge of, and then even those who may have the knowledge of international law, they don't have the knowledge of Moorish sovereignty. So there may be attorneys classified as Negro, color, Moors classified Negro, color, black, who are attorneys who have studied international law. I don't doubt that. But they're studying international law in terms of the United States. They're not studying international law with a knowledge of Moorish sovereignty and Moorish history. So they may know international law, and they may be able to have discussions with me in terms of international law, but they don't have the knowledge of their history and Moorish sovereignty. So when they're talking international law, they're talking in the confines of still this matrix, because they're going to school and they work for the State Department. All right. So they may work for the State Department, and you may have, a more classified Negro, color, black who works in the State Department. All right. And they've taken classes in international law, so they understand, that principle of consular relations, you know, as I do, so forth. But they don't know who they are, though. They don't know their history. So yes, they can dance with me on certain levels of international law, but when it comes to the history, all right. Moorish classified Negro, color, black attorneys. They go to the school, the Hague School of International Law. They go to the School of International Law in The Hague. All right. And they graduated honors, you know. They stay in the, you know, stay in the Netherlands for 3 years and they study international law. But they're not studying it with a knowledge of who the people are. They're not studying the knowledge of pre-existing Moorish sovereignty. They're not studying the knowledge of pre-existing Moorish treaties and Moorish and treaty obligations. They're not, so they don't have, they're, you know, studying, you know, our people are black and, you know, I'm gonna get a job, you know, work in the United States, you know, State Department, so forth, get a job or be a consul. That's a whole different, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
When a Chinese, all right, got a Chinese attorney who goes to the School of International Law in Hague, a more classified Negro, color, black attorney who goes to the School of International Law in The Hague. They both in the same school. Both in the same school. They both taking the classes. All right. What's the difference, y'all? What's the difference? This is a huge difference. Huge difference. Chinese have knowledge of his culture, land rights, and Chinese sovereignty, history. That is a huge difference. So the Chinese is going there with a different mindset. When I went to graduate school, I was at Rutgers University Graduate School of Social Work. Mm-hmm. And this is important that I talk this way, Najma, so I'm talking concepts, proper concepts, and how to look at the situation. Okay. I went to Graduate School of Social Work, mm-hmm. Rutgers University. My second year, I lived in I lived in an apartment with a 4-bedroom apartment. Myself, we had a European born and raised here on our land, a European, Verity, born and raised in Italy, and Thai, born and raised in Thailand. Mm-hmm. And they were all earning PhDs except myself, earning a master's degree in social work. Verity earning a PhD in linguistics. The European, I forget his name, but he was Verity, born and raised here on our land, a PhD in English, mm-hmm. and Thai, a PhD in natural resources.
Okay.
And Thai said to me, and I had never heard this before. He said that I'm here earning my PhD in natural resources to take back to my country. He said to take back to my country. Do Moors There was I saw earlier this week. There's a private school. I can't remember the name of the private school. I can't remember where. A private school. It was 70 to 100 males. It was an all-male school, an all-male private high school.
Oh my.
Classified, and students are classified nigger, color, black. All males. And 70 of them graduated. And they earned at 9.1 million in scholarships combined. And they all graduated. And you would think that Abdullah Bey would be excited. That you would think that Abdullah Bey would be excited to see on TikTok or Instagram, the picture of 70 of our young brothers graduating and they're gonna go to college. I wasn't. I was disappointed. Abdullah, you're a nut. You're foolish, Abdullah. After I finish talking, you won't call me that anymore. After I explain why I was disappointed, you won't call me foolish. Because I'm not a fool. Those 70 brothers are going to go to college. Yes. They're all most likely going to graduate. Yes. And they ain't going back to the area. Those are resources that's taken from that community. They ain't going back. Those 70 brothers will go to different colleges and they will graduate. They will earn high 5 figures and 6 figures. BMWs, $300,000 house. Some may have marry some Europeans. So you took those out. So what's the mindset? While those 70 brothers were in that school, private school, what's the mindset? What's implanted in them? It's a survival approach. Oh, you got the great opportunity. Make something of yourself. Great opportunity. Go and get a good job. Leave this neighborhood. You can do better. It's not a community-based approach. It's not community-based. That's why I was disappointed. There's no structure for them. That's why I was disappointed. You know what's going to happen. You know I'm not a fool. You know what's going to happen. They're going to go to college and they're going to graduate and they're going to go get high 5 figures, 6 figures, BMWs and stuff. Some may marry some European women, all right? And they're going to live in European neighborhoods. Now, say I'm a fool. Say I don't know what I'm talking about. That's what's going to happen.
So more shouldn't live in European neighborhoods or neighborhoods where there are majority Europeans. You don't think that's No. The point I'm making is that those 70 brothers, those are resources. So the school is actually. What I'm saying is the school, where the community is, where the school is. They're not preparing them to better the community where the school is. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
That's where I'm coming from. They're preparing them to be resources for the Europeans. They're going to work at jobs. They're going to work at jobs run by Europeans. Meaning that they're going to be a tax base for the Europeans, meaning that they live in a European neighborhood. They graduate. That means that's a tax base for the Europeans. That's what I'm saying. They're going to be a benefit. They're not, unless you have somewhere to go back. That's why I'm disappointed. You know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. We're working on a survival approach, not a community development. That's so let's fill some questions in the chat about the discussion of this my presentation on the continued that slavery is a concurrent and ongoing condition yet to be settled. Mm-hmm. What are the ideas? Is slavery a past condition that has been settled, or slavery is a current and ongoing condition yet to be settled? And I analyzed that and used post-millennium, returning a people to their original condition. That has not happened. We have not been returned to our original condition. So therefore, there can't be an ending of slavery. They still control our land and resources and use us as a tax base. We have not been returned we have not exercising our divine right of self-determination. And that's also an international law. Self-determination. So where is the enforcement of self-determination? So we got post-millennium and we have self-determination. Both are addressed in international law. So show me where post-millennium and self-determination were applied in 1865. I'm waiting. Post-millennium self-determination.
You said both of those are a part of international law?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Look, read self-determination international law. Absolutely. When was that? When was that enforced? When did we exercise self-determination? 1865. You got United States was legislating. They legislated. That's not self-determination. Did we legislate? Did we legislate to be citizens of the United States? Did we legislate that? Or they legislated? Are the people of Hawaii free? Are the native people of Hawaii free? Are the native people of Hawaii citizens of the United States? Are the native people of Hawaii citizens of the United States? No. Don't show me United States anything. Don't show me Title 8 of the United States Code. Don't show me United States legislation anything. Don't show me United States anything. Don't show me United States legislation anything to make your point. You'll be wrong. You can't show me United States anything. Are the French subjects who lived in the Louisiana territory under France's rule and also Spanish rule, when Louisiana was ceded to Spain in 1762. All right. Are those French citizens, subjects, citizens of the United States? Yes. How, Abdullah? The Louisiana Purchase Treaty. Article 3 of the Louisiana Purchase Treaty is a citizenship clause. So the King of France and the United States agreed through treaty, and that their personal rights in that treaty, their personal rights, because this is international law, that their personal rights are protected. So their personal rights are not removed, and they are citizens by virtue of that treaty. I ain't done. Mexico, the Treaty of Guadalupe, Article 3, citizenship clause. The Mexicans had 1 year to decide whether to be citizens. They had 1 year to decide whether to be citizens or become citizens of the United States or remain Mexican nationals. And they could still stay in New Mexico and Oklahoma and Colorado and California. Article 3 of that treaty. So how are Hawaiians, Native people Hawaiians, citizens of the United States? Where's the treaty? Where's the treaty? There is none. The Queen of Hawaii, of the Kingdom of Hawaii, didn't sign anything. She didn't surrender. The Queen of the Kingdom of Hawaii never surrendered. She never surrendered. She never signed anything. They're subjects of the United States. United States subjected the Kingdom of Hawaii and annexed it. Richard Dole of Dole Pineapples. Richard Dole, a financial typhoon, led the way for the invasion, for the United States invasion of Hawaii. He wanted that for the pineapples and so forth. Richard Dole wanted, so you have the Republic of Hawaii, which is not the Kingdom of Hawaii. The Republic of Hawaii was established by Richard Dole. Richard Dole established the Republic of Hawaii. Richard Dole wanted a separate state, separate from the United States. He wanted a separate state. He established the Republic of Hawaii. United States eventually annexed Hawaii and then made Hawaii that Republic of Hawaii, established by Richard Dole, became the state of Hawaii, or Hawaii state, by annexation and joined the State of the Union. That is not the Kingdom of Hawaii. That's not Hawaiian sovereignty. Hawaiian state and Hawaiian state constitution is not Hawaii sovereignty. Are we aware of that? That's not Hawaii sovereignty. That has nothing to do with the Native people of Hawaii. You know, Native people of Hawaii, that's not Hawaiian sovereignty. That's subjugation and annexation. So the constitution of the Hawaiian state was not drafted by the state of Hawaii. By the Native people of Hawaii. That is not the expression of Hawaiian sovereignty. I just wanted to That's also understanding international law. Right?
All right. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our lesson for today.
Shem will be on shortly, so we can deal with the etymology piece next week.
Okay.
The same lesson. So we set for that. But I know you wanted to address that, and I wanted to address it in its proper context, though. That is slavery a condition that a past condition that has been settled, or a current on condition yet to be settled? And of course, millions of people think that slavery is a past condition that has been settled, and they talk about that. Oh yeah, when during slavery times, back in slavery times, see that condition, and that's clear that the masses of people are ignorant. The masses of our people are ignorant we got degrees. Yes, we do. We got BA degrees. We got master. I got 2 of them, 2 degrees, master degrees, PhDs. But what don't we have? The knowledge of our nationality, our name, our philosophy, our rituals, our marital practices, our celebrations, our ceremonies, our holidays, our festivals, our languages, with our land rights.
Mm-hmm.
Without that, what do you have? Without that, what do we have?
True. Someone in the chat said, so Moorish lawyers have not gained the full knowledge of international law, reason lack of knowledge of self.
Yes, Moors classified as Negro, color, black attorneys. Yes, absolutely, because they don't have knowledge themselves. They, like I said, they would be able to dance with me if they've studied international law. They can dance with me as far as some of the topics I discuss. Yes, but it's placed in the United States jurisdiction. They work within the United States jurisdiction. They don't know Moorish sovereignty. They don't know the pre-existing Moorish sovereignty. They don't know pre-existing treaty rights of the Moors. They don't know that. So their work within the jurisdiction of the United States, they are bad, shut your mouth. Within the jurisdiction of the United States, they can be a bad, shut your mouth. Yes. And they make 6 figures. All right. All right. I got that. You got that. But how are they helping our people?
Well, I mean, Thurgood Marshall was a lawyer, and one thing that I loved about him is that he said he takes what he has to make it work in the favor of whoever he's assisting. So even some people may know both sides and still be able to do that. Just say, for instance, if someone becomes a lawyer and they do know both sides, I don't think they should give up their law degree just because now they're conscious. You can take any law, especially if you have someone that, say for instance, is incarcerated or something's going on. You can take the law, or you can use whatever you have to help people who are incarcerated or behind enemy lines. It doesn't necessarily mean that just because you have a law degree now, because people are going to learn. I mean, we have conscious, unconscious Moors right now walking around here that have knowledge, but they still don't have any respect for women. They hate women. We have men who are misogynists, who really hate women and have been studying more science forever. And out in the streets, they're considered leaders, but in the House, they are tyrants.
All right, you brought up.
What's the choice? Would I prefer a unconscious Moor that I know, somebody like Thurgood Marshall, an unconscious Moor that if someone's incarcerated because of his knowledge of knowing how to apply the law to help that person, versus somebody that is conscious and have studied for 20 years. Everybody loves the person, loves them in the community, right? But at the end of the day, they don't even know that he is a misogynist. And I'm saying I'm not
brought two different issues now, so I got to address them separately.
If you're unconscious and a lawyer, if you're an unconscious Moorish lawyer, right? I'm going back to Thurgood Marshall because I gained a lot of respect listening to him when he was young, when he was a very young man, and he had that first case, and he said, "No, I take the law and I make it work for people who look like me." And so I get what you're saying, that you get these people, they go to law school, they spend all this money in law school, they still don't know who they are. They're making six figures, but they still do not know who they are. Because we are behind enemy lines, we still need certain lawyers, because I know for a fact that a lot of us do get criminal cases where we're in there, just like Lamont right now. Lamont's case landed on the desk of a lawyer that I happen to know, right? And even though he was trying really hard not to contract, it's all I haven't looked at his case, so I don't really know what's going on at this point. But 2 months ago, I don't know, sometimes you don't have a choice. You have to contract with these people.
I had a call come in. I got it.
Please don't forget to get the new book, Moors and Masonry 2. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Supreme L. Oh, I don't know what happened. Islam to the Great Mother, live, and all honors to my brother Abdullah for the work he continues to do. Islam Supreme L, thank you for that. Talk builds, there are different levels of demand and degrees. Upright does require political status.
Let me.
What do you mean by that, talk builds?
Let me address this first, Najma, because I think so that my point is not lost. When I bring up Moors classified nigger colorback attorneys, but I'm saying that. All right, let me be more specific then. Instead of my saying they don't know who they are, let me be more specific then. They don't know pre-existing Moorish treaty rights. They don't. Thurgood Marshall, since you mentioned his name, Thurgood Marshall did not know pre-existing Moorish sovereignty. Thurgood Marshall did not know pre-existing Moorish treaty rights. Thurgood Marshall did not know that he could have functioned as a Moorish consul. That he could have functioned as a Moorish consul in Moorish government structure. And Thurgood Marshall did not know in Moorish treaty rights, particularly that the treaty that the United States has with Morocco, that there's an extraterritorial Article 20. So I'm just being more specific now.
Okay.
Article 20 to Article 24 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between His Pure Majesty Emperor Morocco and the United States, 1787. That extraterritorial was called compensatory late in the 1200s, 13, 14, 15, in the 1600s, it became known as extraterritoriality or extraterritorial coastal jurisdiction. Thurgood Marshall did not know this. That in functioning as a Moorish consul and Moorish government structure, Thurgood Marshall could have removed the case to Moorish consular court. Thurgood Marshall did not know that United States has no rights. We know what they're doing. I'm just talking about treaty. I know what they're doing. I'm talking about treaty.
Mm-hmm.
By treaty rights. Thurgood Marshall did not know United States has no jurisdiction to try any Moors in United States courts. Hence, Article 1, Article 20 to 24. That's where I'm coming from. That Thurgood Marshall did not know that. That doesn't mean he didn't know anything. We're talking treaty. We're talking Moorish sovereignty and more pre-existing Moorish treaty protection. I just want to be more specific as to what I was talking about. So Thurgood Marshall, in dealing with our people, he was dealing with them as if they were United States citizens and using state law and United States Constitution to deal with his cases. He was not using Moorish treaty protection.
Right.
That doesn't mean he didn't know. I'm talking about I'm just talking about what he knew and what he didn't know. All right, and let me be clear. The Moors classified as Negro, color, black don't have to throw anything away. They need to gain knowledge of their Moorish nationality and the political function of their Moorish nationality and pre-existing Moorish sovereignty and pre-existing treaty obligations and treaty protection. They have a basis and they have a discipline to study. So I just want to be clear. I'm not saying throw anything away, but to increase their knowledge of Moorish history, Moorish sovereignty, Moorish treaty protection. All right. Let me talk the issue of Lamont since you brought him up. There was misconceptions going on with that, and it's been taught. Since you brought him up, I got it now. I have to, because I have to clear up issues now. It's been taught. I won't say any names. I won't say any names. I'm only saying the name Lamont because you said his name and yes, there is you. But I'm not going to say who's been teaching this. It's been taught for several years that Article 3, Section 2 of the United States Constitution establishes Moorish consular courts. That's a huge misconception. Lamont was taught that. Lamont was taught that misconception. Another misconception that Lamont was taught. Lamont filed in Charles County. He filed in Charles County Moorish documents regarding his Moorish consular position. That's a huge misconception. That you have what's called central authority. Central authority in international law. In international law, countries are obligated by international law to enact into law a central authority. Let me explain what that means. Let's say you have Chinese, French, and so-and-so consuls. They know this. They know where the United States Central Authority is to deal with areas of diplomacy. It's not any county offices. So Lamont was not dealing with the United States Central Authority. They didn't even know who he was. That you don't make the announcement. Vienna Convention of Consular Relations. I'm only doing this because you brought Lamont up.
Okay.
I have to do this because I have to teach. I have to teach this because we cannot leave any gray areas. Cannot leave any gray areas. Vienna Convention of Consular Relations. Man, I don't care if people beat me up. I don't care. I'm here to teach. Vienna Convention of Consular Relations. You have what's called letter of extrator. Extrator. That's EXQUATUR. EXQUATUR. That's in the Vienna Convention of Consular Relations. The head of state we have the sending country and the receiving country. The sending country sends the commission papers, not a consul. A consul don't send anything. The head of state, the head of that president, king, prime minister, queen, all right, emir, caliph, head of state. They draft commission papers for a consul, ambassador, vice consul, consul general. They send a copy of that commission papers to the receiving state. So the sending state sends it to the receiving state. That is diplomatic through diplomatic channels. It's done through diplomatic channels. The receiving state, the central authority of the receiving state, acknowledges it and sends a letter going to the Vienna Convention of Consular Relations, not Abdullah Bey. Vienna Convention, not Abdullah Bey. It's not called Abdullah Bey. It's called, no, maybe I'll do that. I don't want people to say Abdullah Bey said anything. It's not called Abdullah Bey. It's called the Vienna Convention of Consular Relations. They send a letter of extrator to, so in the commission papers, Najma Bashad. Najma Bashad, all right, she's commissioned as a consul. And this is where she'll be, in Italy, and this city in Italy. That's on the commission papers. All right. I send that to the central authority in Italy. The central authority in Italy receives it. Right? You don't send anything. I send it. I'm the head of state. They send it. They receive it. That has the date of your commission, expiration, where in Italy, the city in Italy, right? So they send a letter of executor to that local city area where you'll be, where your commission is. They already know who you are. You go, they're gonna take pictures with you. I've seen it. I've seen this on the internet. They'll take pictures with you. Mm-hmm. So the governor or the mayor of that city where you'll be commissioned will take pictures of you because they're receiving. That's how it's done through diplomatic channels. Mm-hmm. So they already know who you are. They would already know who you are. You don't send nothing. That's what I'm saying. We have to learn international law. That didn't happen. So what happened, since you said his name, Lamont, they didn't have him on file as a Moorish consul. The United States the central authority, they checked They eventually checked because they'll contact the Attorney General. They contact the Attorney General or the United States Central Authority. You have the District Attorney will contact the United States Attorney General, the United States Central Authority, because they understand the protocol, and then they will check to verify. And it says, no, we don't have no such such. Right. That's why they were saying he's not a consul. That's why they were saying that. And so what happens, Najma, conscious Moors are given misconceptions because they watch YouTube and they see Lamont and others doing something and say, oh, that's how it's done. That's how it's done. That's how it's done. Man, they ain't referring to no Vienna Conventional Constellations. They're referring to, oh, that's how it's done. There's no studying going on. And so this is why we have the Vienna, you see across the line, Moroccan Post Media YouTube page, the Moorish Treaty Protection of Constellation courses. In fact, we have one on there where we have Lamont, because Lamont came to our classes, and then there was a video. Lamont this is over a year ago. Lamont is they were shooting. Lamont and a few other brothers, they were shooting in the yard, and the cops came. They had a shooting range. They had a shooting range in the yard. So the neighbors called the cops. So cops come, right? And it's on, it's on video. They recorded it.
I saw it.
Yeah. So, but I'm saying is people, conscious Moors, watching that. Oh, that's how it's done. No, that's not how it's done.
Right.
You don't need to talk to them. That's what I'm saying. Central. So he's talking to them. He's playing a Moorish consul is talking to local cops and schooling, taking out the iPad and schooling local cops. That's not Central Authority. That's not the United States Central Authority. Those local cops was not enacted into law by United States Congress as United States Central Authority. So conscious Moors watching the video. We did a presentation on this. It's called Central Authority. In fact, I'll make sure we have it. Next, Central Authority on the Moroccan Post Media YouTube page.
Okay.
And we show the video, show part of the video, and we're explaining that is not protocol for international law. That is not United States Central Authority. That you deal with Central Authority. But the Central Authority would already know. It's a lack of knowledge, Najma. And that's why I'm saying, that's why they checked to verify to see if he was a Moorish consul. If he was on record, they contacted the Central Authority. Because that's dealt with diplomacy and international law. And the only reason I brought this up, and Shem ain't on, it's not on yet. Come on now, it's 9:30. Is because you brought him up, and I didn't want that to hang.
I understand.
I didn't want something like loose like that to hang, and I wanted to put it in the context of international law and diplomacy and consular relations.
Someone in the chat said, "I'm told Prophet Noble Drew Ali had a lawyer. There are various levels of law when dealing with litigation. We need righteousness folks on both sides and all levels."
All right. There's various levels of law dealing with all right. Let me address that. You have what's called jurisdiction. You have sovereignty, Chinese sovereignty, French sovereignty, the German Constitution and German sovereignty, the Chinese Constitution and Chinese sovereignty, the French Constitution and French sovereignty, Nigerian Constitution, Nigerian sovereignty. All right. So we got it. Let me address this. All right. I'm gonna go back to, once again, the 1787. So we hear the level of law, we're talking international law and treaty law. So yes, there's various levels of law, but if we're talking international law and treaty law. But if you're talking within a country, domestic law, as in China, you know, China would have their national law and their local laws. France, England, Germany, Nigeria, all right? They would have provinces, and then their local provincial constitution. They have the national constitution, all right? Then you have here treaty law and international law. 1787, because I think the person misunderstood me. There is already pre-existing laws. They're called treaties, Moorish treaties. The 1787 treaty, Peace and Friendship Treaty between United States and Morocco, Article 20 to 24, are the extraterritorial. It's called capitulatory. Back in the, 1,000 years ago, or now it's called extraterritorial consular jurisdiction or extraterritoriality. What does that mean? That the laws of your country, while you're in another jurisdiction or country, the laws of your country applies. You'll be governed by the laws of your country while you're in another territory and or jurisdiction. That is called extraterritoriality. So the level of law that I'm talking about that would apply to us, if there is a dispute, should a Moor wound a United States citizen or wound or kill a United States citizen, or United States citizen shall kill or wound a Moor, what is the venue? Consular court. So we're talking about a specific law, treaty law, particular extraterritoriality, consular jurisdiction. I just wanted to provide more clarity. All right. Say, all right, Juali had an attorney. What is that? Are they meaning? All right, so Juali had a United States citizen. Juali had an attorney, United States citizen, as an attorney. Juali had a United States citizen as an attorney that applied United States laws to defend him. Juali had a United States, don't say Juali had an attorney. Juali had a United States citizen who was an attorney that applied state law and United States laws. Juali did not have an attorney that applied treaty law and international law and Moorish pre-existing Moorish treaty protection. And this is what the Shem Bey plan's about, to facilitate a Moorish national political government structure. And this is how they're injuring us. It's 9:34. Let me give Shem a call so we can get started on this end.
Okay. Thank you, everyone in the chat that's sharing the video, liking the video. I appreciate it. If you haven't shared and liked, could you please do so now? It will help the channel build. Shukran. Thank you, Talk Builds. I guess while we're waiting, can everybody say where they're from, what state you're from? I'm in Maryland, which is in the middle of DC and Virginia, or next to DC and Virginia. Where's everybody from? What state are you from? United States corporation doing business in Morocco. Eisenhower relinquished jurisdiction in Morocco in August 1952. Based on this alone, they have no right to abduct anyone. Oh, Sister Valerie, you from New York? All right. Ooh, Tallahassee. Yes. How's the weather there? It's getting ready to pour down raining here. And is anyone seeing how beautiful the moon is? I'm in. Oh, peace, Elkanah Anyali. I'm sorry if I chopped your name up. Peace to you. Ooh, Mississippi. Peace, Naya. Oh, it's hot. Yeah, it's hot. It was 100 degrees here today. Very, very hot today. Yep. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. 95 degrees in New York? Yeah. Let's see. We're going to take a quick break. Be patient, everyone, please.
All right, I guess it'll be on. All right, so we can get started with the I can do the reading.
Okay.
All right, so this was good because you gave me opportunity to provide clarity, you know, uh, and this area of Moorish sovereignty has to strengthen among conscious Moors and, of course, unconscious Moors. It's a weakness right now that we're looking to turn into to strengthen. You know, and that's due to misconceptions, Najma. You know, we talked about misconceptions last week. You know, and I cleared up, you know, a lot of misconceptions. You know, the misconceptions that Moors are the founders of the United States, misconceptions that Moors are the drafters of the United States Constitution, and 35 Moors at the United States Constitution Convention. These, you know, misconceptions that I had taught for 25 years to thousands of people. So it's a lot of that. So we've been doing a lot of cleaning up the misconceptions. You know, misconceptions that Moors are part and parcel of the United States. Misconceptions that, you know, bringing Moors back into the constitutional fold of the United States Constitution. So that has a lot to do with it. And that had a lot to do with that inhibited my growth and development. And I was imprisoned for 25 years from age 27 to age 49. Most of my adult life, I was imprisoned in misconceptions and taught that to thousands of people. I cried. Yes, I cried a few times. I have. I'm not gonna lie. I have. And this is where you have this, you know, this drive that I have to, you know, make amends. I have cried. I'm not gonna lie. Because I really care about our people.
We know you do.
And to have taught misconceptions for 25 years to thousands of people, that's a hurt piece. Right? And this is where so have that drive to study and read treaty cases and international law and to soak up and, you know, so determined and, you know, to reach out to as many people I can, TikToking and Instagramming and Facebooking and writing and just have that drive, you know.
But we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. We're sending you strength and love.
So we have here my man Shem Bey. This is I spent all week on this. Spent 4 days on this. I finished it up late this morning. All right. Last week, for last 2 weeks, Shem had mentioned that in 2012 he hosted a Moorish convention where 400 people attended here in Philadelphia, Shechem. And he mentioned that he mentioned the downfall and the setbacks that occurred during that convention. You know, those came. He mentioned those. He had some people who wanted to be pharaohs. You know, so that you have the issue of the ego and the selfishness and not putting the people first. So when he brought that up again last week, I said I need to write this so that I can read it when I go TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and others can read it. That, you know, that they can see his journey. They need to know his journey. You know, so this is 13 years of his journey of working to facilitate a Moorish national political governing structure that would serve as a voice in the international community for our people to address the centuries of European colonization of our land, the generations of mass, here he is, the generation of mass denationalization. Shem, you got to fix the light situation. That's what I tried to tell him that, Najma, but he was, I did call him.
Yeah, let me
get the lighting right. Get the lighting situation.
We fixing the wall over here at my house. Fixing the wall over here. Let me show the sound. I got the lamp over by the wall.
Yeah, with the lamp. Yeah, just get the light situation.
Yeah.
All right. So I wanted to put this in writing.
How's this?
We can't see you. You can't see your face. You can't. It's yours. You need better. Get closer to the light.
Let me take a tap down.
Come into the light, Caroline.
Now you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
There you go.
You're good.
Hold on. Let me put my chair over here.
It's fine, but let's let you know you're good. All right. So I wanted to put Shem's background in writing. Moorish Nation Part 2, Chapter 8. Right? So I didn't think it was going to be this long, but so we put in writing his background, so that it's important, because we're marketing this plan, and we are wanting to get people's attention. And I'm going to read, and I want Shem to go more in detail about the obstacles that occurred at the convention in 2012. Shem, the background, what's going on?
Can you see me?
What's on the radio? What's on? Turn the radio off.
Go ahead. My radio is on.
All right, got to turn it off. No problem.
It's off. Go ahead.
All right, good. All right, so when I read I'm going to read this, and then I want Shem to, when I get to the convention section, Shem, after I read that part, I want you to go more in detail with that. All right? All right, here we go. Shem Bey's 13-year history of developing and implementing his plan and proposal of restoring Moorish national political unity, Moorish national government principles, Moorish consular and diplomatic relations, and Moorish treaty protection of people among the Moors. 2010, developing the plan to restore national political unity and Moorish national principles among the Moors. Shem learned through his study of international law, treaty law, consular and diplomatic relations that the approach for over 100 years of Moors attempting to recover lost Moorish sovereignty and to bring the Moroccan Empire out of a 200-year period of temporary political extinction, disintegration, collapse due to European conquest and colonization by using the United States Constitution and laws, United States departments and agencies, and the United States courts is erroneous and misdirection. Shem further learned that these taken by Moors, conscious Moors, these actions, actions taken by conscious Moors for over 100 years are not in harmony with the principles of the law of nations, public international law, with regards to the recovery of our lost Moorish sovereignty, the recovery of our lost Moorish sovereignty, the restoration of Moorish statehood, continuity of our Moorish statehood, re-entering the international community of nations as an old and original state under the principles of reversion to sovereignty and post-millennium, restoration of Moorish territorial sovereignty, Moorish personality of law, and Moorish state responsibility. Shem expanded his studies to the reestablishment of diplomacy and treaty relations with the empire of and European kingdoms with which the Moroccan Empire negotiated treaties between the 15 and 1800s, the enforcement of Moorish capitulation, extraterritorial consular jurisdiction vested in Moorish bilateral treaties. Shem clearly is aware that these political processes, in accordance with the principles of the law of nations, public international law, and recovering of a state's lost sovereignty due to European colonization and conquest, would be raising the Moorish flag politically. It has become very clear to Shem that the conscious Moors have yet to raise the Moorish flag politically. The act of the conscious Moors physically raising the Moorish flag does not constitute a political raising of the Moorish flag. Let's bring the Moroccan Empire out of a 200-year period of political extinction, disintegration, dismemberment, collapse. Let's raise our Moorish flag politically once again. All right, next page. Shem's Malachi Bey drafts the following documents: Moorish Imperial Parliament Council, Treaty of Liberty, Letter of Political Legitimacy, Executive Order, Letter of Presumption and Assumption that Moors are the United States citizens and residents of the states in the Union, 2012. Shem Malachi Bey's call to restore national political unity and Moorish national principles among the Moors. Moorish Convention at Philadelphia, 400 in attendance from various parts of the country. Obstacles and setbacks. The struggle to facilitate the principles of political legitimacy, the will of the people, the political legitimacy, the will of the people is supposed to be the consent of the people in 2012 at the convention. For most of those who attended the Moorish Convention, the people were not part of the people were not put first. Personal agendas surfaced and dominated the conference. The principles of political legitimacy, the will of the people, and the consent of the people took a back seat to personal agendas, selfishness, and greed. Shem, you want to go more detail with that?
Yes. What I spent in my endeavors, the reason I was able to pull the convention off because the sisters, the women have worked with me. It was great to work with women, the feminine, because they was the ones that helped push getting out to the different political jurisdictions of the Moors and delivering the different political jurisdictions and domiciling, is able to get to them, the groups, the houses, and certain minority of people, men and women, to come and put together a conference. Now, the women was the reason why, I'm gonna say this first, the women helped me in putting that conference together. It was a great help to me. Now, the reason why it happened, but nothing came about it, because, see, I didn't run across nobody like Professor Abdullah Bey. See, Abdullah put himself first. He put the people first. See, he put himself to the side.
Talk about what took place there. That's later on. Talk about.
We had everybody sent forth a representative of every community or group, Moorish group, that represented kind of Moorish group. They had the only thing they needed was guidance, how to create a flag, a constitution, and how to assemble together and have elections. That's why we came together for the representatives to come there, and we all could sit down and talk about putting a plan together. What happened was we made a good turnout. About 400 delegates came out, representatives of groups, communities, organizations. Some ministers, preachers was involved. What happened? What I found out was when we got to start doing everything, that there were certain individuals had hidden agendas, meaning that they were looking at on the principle of what we was talking about, but they look on the other hand, how can they go back and control the people? How can they make money? Individual process. See, the individualism and misconcepts was stored away. That was my main stronghold. And the misconcepts and false images of people hiding to individualism, operate a group, but all together it's all about them. They want to go on Facebook media and fabulous this something. They know this, they can do this. They didn't want to take it back and create the education system, educate the Moors so they can go and start building. They want to go on YouTube and start talking about they got remedies in the federal courts. Mm-hmm. See, it was used in the wrong way. That's what I'm saying. We had it right. The idea was right. They came together, but what happened when they left, they went back to their old ways. They took what they got was very valuable, but they took it, and the ones that wanted to still operate under the misconcepts took it and ran with it as an individual process and dismissed it. I mean that we ain't got to do that. We go to court to get the same remedy. It went back to the same misconcept ways. So that's what happened. We had the right process. They came together. We drafted a constitution up. Everybody read it. Went on argument. And argument started when they all left and went back to start implementing the processes. They could not do that because the individual part, the misconcepts didn't die. It means that they was not willing to let go of the old concepts. So one of the key things about I learned in this right here, we have to let go all these misguided and misleading wrong concepts. They got to be buried forever in the grave and not again, never seen again. They have to be dead, put to death, arrest. They have to put to rest, period. Now,
so the issue was not at the conference.
No,
it was the obstacles occurred after the conference.
Yes, Abdullah, yes, sir.
Left and went back to their Moorish territories.
That's right, absolutely. Yes.
All right.
That's pop way to say, Abdullah. That's happy. Everybody.
I'm learning myself too, so I can be able to write. Then I have to add that in there. Then I have to write that in. Now this is good. This is good. That's what I want you to. This is important that we do this so that let me continue. So we'll be good on that. All right. Where are we? 2013 to 2018, overcoming obstacles and maintaining integrity, putting the people first, honoring the principles of political legitimacy, the consent of the people, and the will of the people.
Yes. Now, when that happened, I was faced with a peculiar and extraordinary circumstances to do it myself. Let everybody else go to the guillotine and come back with authority. But I realized, well, wait, you can't do that because you know why? Because number one, you need your people. You need the people. You need the women. You need the women. You need the women, the masculine and feminine. You need that to work together. So I realized if I want to go with a national body, so we represent everybody as a whole. Then we come back and enforce our more proper concepts to our education system and our own police force to enforce, protect our matriarch and our teachers, our professors and ministers and teachers that are teaching this. That's one of the greatest things I realized. I couldn't do it myself. One guy kept.
Go ahead.
One brother said, Shem, I'm gonna tell the truth. I had to rebuke him. He said, Shem, if I was you, I'll go to F up there. I don't care nothing about nobody. I rebuked him. I said, brother, you're an enemy. If you tell me to do that again, you're my enemy. I'm gonna tell you why. Number one, how can one man? I never see one person, and you can show me. I never see not one person, one man build a nation. You got to have a house, a woman. You got to have children. You got to have a community. You got to have a clan, a society. There's nothing you can look back in history that make that statement. Go and do it yourself clear. No, I couldn't do that.
So what Shem was talking about is that when he said he couldn't do that, what Shem means, in political science, there is a term called political legitimacy. Look it up, political legitimacy, and that's taught in political science. And what Shem learned, Shem knew that he needed the consent of the people. Shem understood that government is the people, the consent of the people. So what Shem knew, without the will of the people, the consent of the people, the process would not be political, would not be in line and harmony with political legitimacy. And therefore, it was only be so far that Shem could go, because not respecting and not having by the consent and will of the people, the nations of the world would not recognize and respect it, because it's important that you must facilitate the process of political legitimacy and honor the will and consent of the people. So Shem was very cognizant of that. He's to this very day, he holds fast to that. He teaches that. All right. So that's a fundamental principle. When you're talking about the term, you have the people used in a political sense. You have the people used in a general sense, the people used in a political sense. The people used in a general sense would be the people in the park are playing basketball or soccer. All right. Then you have the people, as in, the people Republic of China, the people, so forth. The people in a political sense means the repository of the collective sovereignty of the people, the repository of the collective sovereignty of the people in a national constitution. That's the people in the used in a political sense. So Shem was very cognizant of that and highly educated on that principle. We need some more light with you, brother. What's up? What's up with the light, man?
I'm right here. You can see me right here. Abdullah,
we ain't gonna get any better than that. I'm gonna leave it alone. Man, brother.
You expressed that very clearly.
Because add to that, Shem.
Yes, you expressed that clearly. See, when I did the convention, I had them all there, but the thing about it was we supposed to have a signing, come back for a signing of a final constitution. Because the first one, when they went back and didn't do it right, they didn't gather together the proper way. They never came back to sign a treaty and sign a constitution. So therefore, I was left without having representatives of different houses and communities sign that constitution or that letter that I could deposit. So I couldn't do it by myself because I don't have children. I make children, but I don't have them. I don't birth children. Women do. So the woman plays an important part. You
wouldn't have had the consent of the people. You wouldn't have had the consent of the people. The will of the people.
Yes, that's right. And that covers everything, male and female, children and all. So I realized that, and what I did was I said, Now I have one more convention. Let me say this. I had one more sit down with the brother called Sear, the Duke of Tears. He met me here in 2017, I believe it was. He met me here. And I thought I thought he was what he talked about it takes. But like I said, when I run across them, they're not what they say they are about doing government structure. I'm only giving my opinion. I love the brother, very knowledgeable, but he was not ready at that time to help the boards come together and form government. Now, because he was claiming to be the Sultan of Morocco. So by claiming to be the Sultan, he looking at it like this. You go ahead and do this, I'll be right here waiting for you. I'll prove you. So he looking to see it as a monarchy. That's all he said by control of the people. That's all he cared about. Controlling the people. I'm speaking firsthand. He claimed to be the Sultan, the direct descendants of the Sultan. So the Duke of Tears said he was a Sultan and that he's a blood pedigree of the Sultan and that he was sitting as the heir to the throne of monarchy of the Emperor Kingdom of Morocco. Not a kingdom of the Empire of Morocco. So by saying that, I realized, well, wait. If all these Moorish nations come together, he's looking for them to give him homage to him as superior, being supreme over everything. I mean, give him tribute, give him taxes, dues, everything he deserved. So then I realized, we got a problem here. The higher people I deal with, that people look up to on the mass level, are to me the people that is not what everybody think they are. When it comes down, bringing our people together under one national government, liberating itself out of this conquest and that station through conquest. I'm keeping it real. I'm talking about first-hand knowledge. This is not no game plan. This is somebody told me, or a third party. This is somebody met me, sat down with me, and said, You got it, Shem. But when they sat down with me, they let me know their heart that they was over everything. I thought we got a problem here now, because my plan is that let everybody in the old domicile rim claim their Moorish community as a Moorish provincial government and form their own flag, their own constitution, and have an election body of people, voters, a population of voters, and let their own officials in and let them run their own government. If you and your province and rim and jurisdictional territory, political jurisdiction, if the people agreed to have a monarchy, an empress or emperor over their house, over their political jurisdiction, then that's for them. But you can't extend that monarchy. You can't extend that monarchy to another political jurisdiction, a Moorish government. You can't do that. And what I found out is my true saying is this is my analyst. What I found out is that had nobody, please say nobody had the knowledge, the foreknowledge, and the philosophy what political legitimacy really was. That's what I got out of the whole thing. Dealing with ties, everybody. The only one I sat down with that the spirit, the Most High, led him to me, Abdullah Bey, and sat down in front of my mother. Abdullah said, "That's it, Shem." And I'm gonna tell you something. A woman prophesied that I was gonna meet somebody, run into somebody who would help me out. And guess what? Later on, about a month and a half later, or 2-3 months later, he come Abdullah Bey walking down my block. So what I'm saying is that Abdullah was the only one I knew that really who mouth was open to what political legitimacy really was. That's the only one I can speak of, Abdullah Bey.
All right. You got any more to say on that? You good? Let me continue.
You go, Abdullah. I'm done.
You jumped the gun, but that's all right. Next page, Najma. All right. Shem Bey continues his plan to restore national political unity among the Moors by working on a local level by facilitating the establishment of a Moorish political body, politic, Lenahoki Nation. Lenahoki Nation, Shakaman Shihim, Shaka Maxim, Philadelphia, means to make a chief or king, a Shakama chief, or their 3 clan, Kakakima, big or clan chief, or the place of eels, referring to it as being an important summer fishing spot for the native Moors. Shem Bey drafts the following documents: legislation for the creation of the Lenahoki Nation, Moorish national principles, due process procedures, Moorish government protocol and operations, functions of government offices, government official duties, oath of office, Moorish nationalization process, name declaration, court decrees, letters of rogatory, and we have writs of quo warranto. All right. Removal petitions and writs of quo warranto. 2019 to present, Shem Bey resumes work to implement his plan and proposal on a national scale. Lessons learned from the 2012 Moorish Convention. The importance of education as the key to facilitating political legitimacy, the consent of the people, and the will of the people. Curriculum development. Shem Bey and his growth and the realization that education is a key component to restoring common thought and national political unity among the Moors. Shem Bey begins working with Abdullah Talib Bey and Tamar in April 2019. With the Lenahoki Nation, Shem worked in the Shaka Maxim territory, although Shem continued to implement his plan and proposal for restoring Moorish national political principles and political unity among our people. Shem never lost his drive to effectuate political and economic change for our people on a national scale and to address the generations of European mass denationalization of our people, the centuries of European colonization of our Moorish land, the generations of the European subjugation of our people, the issues of biological, logistics, linguistic, and cultural genocide launched against our people to family of nations on the international platform. In April 2019, Shem began with his friend of 15 years, Abdullah Bey. At that time, Tamil was working with Abdullah as his layout designer and assistant. Right, next. The establishment of a Moorish caucus, June 2019. The caucus convenes for 4 hours every second and fourth Saturday of the month for meetings and education. The meeting time was for 30 minutes and the educational lessons were for 3.5 hours. There was a meeting and an educational lesson for each caucus meeting. Educational topics. There was a great emphasis on international law and treaty law, treaty cases, Moorish treaty enforcement through Moorish government structure, consular relations, diplomacy. In June 2019, over 50 Moors assembled to form the Moorish Imperial Restoration Caucus to bring our people now classified as Black, Negro, Colored, African American, Latino, Spanish, Indian, etc., back under the tree of divine, natural, and positive law to reconnect to the principles of our ancient mothers and fathers as the founding civilized people who first inhabited and cultivated the earth. Also, our ancient mothers and fathers set among themselves a political, civic, and economic structure to contract one nation to another. The Moorish Imperial Restoration Caucus observed that addressing centuries of European colonization of Moorish land and the mass denationalization of the Moors through a constructive race paradigm as the root cause of generations of mass incarceration, crime, drug abuse, homelessness, poor housing conditions, poor health care, miseducation, and higher literacy would be a daunting and never-ending endeavor if continued a case-by-case basis. Through the study of treaties, treaty cases, international law, acts, agreements, covenants, conventions, constitutions, and court cases in the International Court of Justice, the Moorish Imperial Restoration Caucus learned that facilitating the formation of a national Moorish governing body among the various Moorish political body politics would be the most prudent approach to addressing centuries of European colonization of Moorish land and the mass denationalization through modern constructive race paradigm. By assembling into a national governing body and forming a national constitution among ourselves, we will reestablish our rights and duties of statehood as a returning state into the international community of nations. By reclaiming our pre-existing Moorish sovereignty through a national governing body, we will position ourselves politically to establish diplomacy with the treaty nations, with the nations with which we negotiated treaties between 1610 and 1892, England, Great Britain, France, Spain, Portugal, United States, Netherlands, Denmark, Sardinia, Belgium, etc. The development of educational institutions. You want to add to that or elaborate?
Well, it speaks for itself. The key thing is for the people to come together in groups, the community groups of people, houses come together and form their community. And once they do that, take the course and learn how to get information to have government structure, I mean elections. If you don't learn how to get information, come together in numbers, in groups, houses of people, and get information, have elections, and delegate certain people for certain offices, and do certain drafts, instruments, and be creative in your own emblem, in your own flag. That's the first thing you have to do. Guide yourself to implement this plan so you come together in formation to have elections. Like tonight, everybody on this call tonight should represent a Moorish government. If you're on this call today, outside be the Professor Abdullah or anybody else, you should be a representative of a government. take this back so you can sit down with your.
This is a class, Shem. They're not though. They're not.
No, nobles, don't do that, please. Excuse. I know that you can rub somebody down with butter. Don't rub the butter down. Don't be swooping nobody down now. Keep it real. If you taking this class, Abdullah Bey, you know you made it clear, Abdullah, when they took the contract course or they come to Delaware to sit down in that classroom, Abdullah, you there for a reason. What reason are you there for? To learn, to go back and teach your group and community. So
that's why they're here, Shem. That's why they're here. That's why they're learning.
I didn't say that. I said I'm making a statement. No, I didn't say that. I say if anyone, I'm making a general prepositional phrase. If anyone here listen to Professor Abdullah and Shem Bey, that means you represent the Moorish government. That means you have studied our courses to get a formation, to form government structure, a virtual Moorish government. That means you can learn this and go back to your government.
They're getting there. They're getting there, brother. We can move on from there. They're getting there. We good.
No, I just made a statement. So we won't forget.
Now, they're not going to forget. They're good.
So don't see. You get soft, brother. I see that. I see who's going.
Hey, brother. Call me brother Practical. Call me brother. That's my middle name. Practical.
That's why I made that statement, because I know how you used to be. Don't go running now. I got this from you.
Call me brother Practical.
And I'll be practical right now. The statement I just made, Abdullah Bey was real strong-headed about this. If you're gonna learn this, go back. So you can teach your people to get information.
We have classes on the Moroccan Post Media YouTube page. On our Moroccan Post Media YouTube page, we have the Moorish Government Politics Formation classes. We have the Moorish Treaty Protection and Consular Relations class, course 101, which is 10 classes, and then we have the Moorish Treaty Protection and Consular Relations course 201, which is about, I think, 5. We haven't completed that yet. We're about 5 or 6 classes in with that. All right. Then we have other presentations on our Moroccan Post Media YouTube page. Go on the page, subscribe, like, and also share that page with other people and let them know, the treasures that are on the Moroccan Post Media YouTube page. Also, my website, mooresandmasonry.org for my books. All right, so let's continue.
The great reason is to learn this government structure is that we won't be going to no courtroom as the United States citizens or citizens of the state petition the courts to give us a service. Once you do that, you gave into the jurisdiction, because you're asking the judge to do something that the judge don't have authority. In order for the judge to do that, you got to take in consideration that you are what? A ward of the state, or you a United States citizen. Once the judge that means, in other words, under CFR, you are a trust. Yes, you're a person, you're a trust. So what I'm saying is that y'all have to go in court to fight foreclosures. You don't have to go in court to fight foreclosure. If you got a government structure, we would go ahead and set ourselves up through banking, where we give our own mortgages out to ourselves. And we never foreclose on our own properties. We never mistreat our brothers and sisters, because this is part of the government. And the government will protect that principle of culture, where nobody will foreclose on your land, your minerals, or your resources, or take away your rights. That's our job, to protect that scarce right. If we get together, we'll have to go to the courtroom and say, well, you don't have jurisdiction. No, we know you don't have jurisdiction. We don't have to know. We have our counsel officer do government relationship, diplomatic affairs, take the case out of their jurisdiction where they never had no authority over you at all. They can't do nothing on your possession, on your body, on your property, on your assets, on your intellectual thinking, property, nothing. No jurisdiction there, no control, nothing. Go ahead, Abdullah.
All right.
So if you want to get free, the first word of getting free is liberate your mind from wrong concepts of what you have to do. Because Abdullah made a great point. Why would a man living in his country, China, why would the United States military Marine go to a Chinese court to enforce his rights. When China entered a treaty, a military agreement with the United States. That's an international agreement. What happened is the military, the council will step in and force that military agreement. No United States citizen will ever go to Chinese court to force his right, because the Chinese government relinquished authority over to that military agreement. And that's the agreement. Whatever that agreement say, that's the law. So why would a Moor go to a political boundaries jurisdiction of a foreign corporation that was given, that relinquished certain land rights to run government, operate government political affairs in their country? Why would you go to their courts and there's no document existing that authorizes you to go there and give them authority in your civil and criminal compliance matters? There's no document.
The reason why, Shem, is because of misconceptions and because that this national political government structure has not been restored, so we're still facilitating it. All right, and so we're in and continue to teach. You're doing a great job. You got A++ tonight, brother. A++. A++ last week. A++ the week before that. A++ the week before that.
You don't have to worry about the money system, because we read the treaties. Any more got the right to go in any state, European nation or state, and deal directly to their treasury. All their bonds, all their assets, that foreign government is a debtor to you. The reason why they can't do that because you are debtor, they're creditor, because you know who you are. Once you know who you are and start operating government, you become a creditor, become a debtor. What you mean? You are a child of the hosting nation. They're a child of the receiving nation. They're the debtor. Remember, the foreign nations, European nations are debtors. Morocco is a creditor. So when you turn back to national government, a more official government, you become the creditor now. Now you're able to go ahead as on the common equity and force your own obligation to your own currency and your own assets value. That you have power to do that now, and you're protected by treaty. When you do that, you're protected by international agreement because they're on your land. You're not in the foreign land doing business. They're on your land running commerce. Using your land, your resources, buildings on your land, your material, and your farmers to cut down your trees. Your children go to their colleges, stealing your ideals. So you got a right now, they work for you. So you got to enforce the treaty. Only way you enforce it is through a Moorish government that's attached to Morocco. It's the only way. Anything you have to Abdullah?
Nah.
And that way we stay out of their court. You don't have to keep talking about they work in a fraud, they pass the bill. You don't have to say all that stuff. Just stick with your government, listen to your government, and do banking. You have control of your thinking, you got control of your writing, you got control how you divest or you praise your assets, your value. You got power how you create your income. So if we want to get out of this box of misconceptions and know that, what's other words in a nutshell, what can we benefit from this? Easy. How you benefit is you able to go to any of these European nations, establish you a master account in their treasury and run your bonds and your notes and your assets to their treasury, and they work for you. They become your trading platform. And while you're doing it, guess what? Your entity, your trust, or your corporation got automatically exemption. You got exemption. You can't be prosecuted. That means now when you take your value, your property, you write a mortgage out, you got a trust, you got an LLC you create, you lend the money to your own LLC. And guess what? And you value your own property for value, and guess what? You have to pay nobody back. They can't take your land or your property, your erection. That's the value of this. The value is to stay out their court and stay out their playground and stay out of being used by them.
Well, you're doing a good job in educating the people, and this is a process. All right, this is the process I know that there's conscious Moors that think that this can be done in 3 seconds. I know that. I'm serious. I'm not. I know. Yes, yeah. I'm not. Yes, they think it can be done in 3 seconds. You know, and they don't. They want. They want this, Shem. But do they really, really, really want it? I mean, are they willing to put the work in? Are they willing to put the work in to restore national principles, Moorish national principles, and recover lost Moorish sovereignty? Or they want a process, you know, do they have the interest of our people, or they're just their personal affairs? So, and I've connected with people who have the interests of our people. So it's just connecting with. So there are those among us. There are those among us who are like myself and like Shem, like those who are listening to us, who have the interest of our people. I am assembling those people. I am seeking out those type of people. There are those. I'm finding them. Yes, I am. We have them. We're going to have Shem Malachi Bey Committee. And El Kanan, you're going to be part of that. I meant to mention that to you, El Kanan. But you already know that El Kanan's already. So I have about 20 that I've already reached out. And these are active people. These are active people who have their own platform, their own outreach. I've already reached out to them, discussed. So we have a plan to facilitate this. This is part of the education that Shem Malachi Bey's tour. This is part of the Shem Malachi Bey's tour. And he'll tour and he'll explain his plan. The plan is in chapter 8 of my book, Moors and Masonry Part 2. And like I said, I spent all week writing this so that this will be, so that we can, so I wanted to be, so Shem can have that history, his background history. Najma, did you hear what Shem said while you were gone?
I wasn't gone. I was just in the background.
Oh, all right, good.
Yeah, there's a question in the chat, FYI. But go ahead.
Yes. Before you answer that, before we state that question, answer that question rather. Going back to what before Shem came on, Najma, did this provide more clarity? Does this provide clarity to you about the discussions we had about Moorish conscience and Moorish determination? I'm getting the echo again. This has happened.
I hear you go, Abdul. I hear you very well. I hear you very well, Abdul. I hear you.
Yeah. I'm getting the feedback.
That's all right. I hear you good. You sound good. You sound good to me, Abdullah.
Let me see. Hold on.
All right. I'm good.
Are you on the microphone?
No, I'm not. What's that?
Same thing's going on with me. Oh, now it's
well, you're good. I'm good. It's gone. All right. Okay. Where'd Shem go? Well, did you did that provide clarity for you? His Shem's explanation that he gave with in the past that last 10 minutes.
Clarity regarding
attorneys, Moorish conscious attorneys classified legal color black, and with the direction.
Direction
where what they don't know, and where they need to be, in this line of thought.
Right. I understood it from the beginning. I know that attorneys are contracted someplace else. Shem, can you speak? Because it seems like make sure everybody has no echoes.
I can hear you good.
Okay. All right.
That's good.
All right. So someone in the chat.
Yes.
1 second. It says, Shem, can you talk about Miranda versus Arizona? Didn't he invoke his right to counsel via a treaty with U.S. and Mexico? Violation of treaty is grounds for sanctions, etc., or what are repercussions?
Well, I took Shem. We had this discussion in class a while back. Go ahead, Shem. Miranda versus Arizona.
Well, in Miranda versus Arizona, if you're dealing with a foreign national, if the foreign national does not exercise his right to counsel, is waived. What I mean is that he have to exercise that right. If you don't exercise the right, it's waived. No one will exercise it for you. That's why you have the knowledge. So you exercise that right. Once you exercise that right, now we're dealing with jurors now. Here go a counsel of Mexico. What do the counsel of Mexico do? He don't go to the United States court and argue that. He steps in and enforces the treaty. He removes the case from the federal court to the council of jurisdiction based on executive law, CFR, the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations. What you mean, Shem? They got a special Senate. The Senate organized, convened together one special committee and passed certain statutes and rules and regulations that govern all states, all municipal, local, county agencies, departments, and units. When the memorandum is the case, not dealing with a council, is dealing with someone that's considered by the United States as being a United States citizen, coming to their courts, making a claim that they've been denied certain rights. Because, see, what I say is that once the Supreme Court make a ruling, the Supreme Court is under a presumption that the party is not a foreign national. He's a citizen of the United States, and he's protected under the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution. So therefore, the Supreme Court made the decision. That decision does not affect a foreign national, because nowhere in that case do it talks about a foreign national. See, this is what we got to understand. You got Miranda, give me another case. Supreme Court rule about Fourth Amendment violations. These are cases ruled. They're able to rule these cases because both parties are considered to be what? A United States citizen that's protected by the Constitution. They're not protected as foreign national. That's why you never hear the treaty comes up or counsel in that case. A counsel would never go before the Supreme Court or a federal court and argue like an attorney do. No, the counsel is the judicial officer. The counsel make the final determination. So what the counsel do under executive law, he remove the case to his jurisdiction so he can hear the case and send a letter derogatory to that party. Once the counsel make a decision, that case will never be part of the United States judicial canon. Why? Because it does not deal with United States citizens or disputing diversity citizenship. That case will go on a different level when another council of the United States decides to do a case. They will grab that case because it's dealing with international law. So no one can take a United States Supreme Court decision and force a Moorish treaty. There's no way in the world you can't do it, because that's why the judges dismiss every Moorish case that come in front of them, dismiss it. Somebody says judge are on there. Can you blame him? He would never delegation of authority to hear a case dealing with a Moroccan. The Supreme Court or federal district court only has power delegated through their father, the mother, the preacher. The preacher of the law is the Constitution. What the Constitution delegated to them, and what their father delegated was the Congress. When Congress passed the acts and legislative bills that create that court, they create a creature, artificial creature. Supreme Court is created as a creature of the law. So the federal district courts. There's nothing in the Constitution or a treaty where the Moroccan or Moorish government ever gave the United States Congress or the United States government power to make laws, to enact a council, to appoint a commissioner to hear any matter pertaining to a Moor. There's no document. So when a Moor goes before a federal court, ask the federal court to make a ruling the judge is right by dismissing it because the judge does not have subject matter jurisdiction. The judge don't have subject matter. The judge don't have exclusive jurisdiction. Neither do the judge have any kind of jurisdiction to hear that case because the judge only allowed to rule, adjudicate on matters that given to him in the legislative acts passed by Congress or the Constitution. That's all the power and authority go. So when a Moor gets locked up or any foreign citizen, the consul of that country is supposed to remove that case to the consular jurisdiction based on international agreement in the treaty between his country and the United States. About being a member state of the UN, he can remove that case to the central authority on the consular jurisdiction. And guess what? The only one who can hear that case is the consul. The consul sent out letters of interrogatory, subpoena evidence, testimony, witnesses to hear the matter. And the law can only be brought on the laws to protect that national of his own country. So when we got to mess up at this rate in China right now, if Chinese is over here right now, and they got agreement, and which China do have agreement, but most people don't know, China do have agreement with the United States. I have the agreement. Yes, China have agreement with the United States from the 18th century. They signed it. And that treaty is still law of the land. Right now, they will never tell you that, but no United States citizen will ever go to a Chinese tribunal with a treaty in place at the Chinese court to enforce his constitutional rights. They were a Chinese citizen or Mexican citizen going to a federal court and say, if they're knowledgeable, and say, my rights been violated. What happened is, when the people don't have knowledge and the wrong concepts out there, they cannot force their rights, and therefore they waive. So when we take for granted that, oh, well, this person did it, but that's not, because they did it, don't make it right. Somebody said, well, he did it, he got a remedy. He didn't get no remedy, you know what they did? They just got him out the way. They want to educate nobody. So they do every now and then, they let one go through and get him out the way, so they want to educate nobody. But believe me, there's no case law when you ever read where a Moor went to the United States court. Matter of fact, I have to look it up. Lincoln represented Moors and beat the case, but what Lincoln did was let the courts know that they not have jurisdiction over the Moor. That's one of the things Lincoln won the case on, jurisdictional grounds. You cannot trial a Moor in your courtroom. So, and this is a fact. I don't have a document. I'd love to. I'm looking to get that. Me Abdullah, and we're gonna try to put this up on and everybody see it. That the President Lincoln, a well-recognized lawyer, never joined the Bar Association, was a recognized lawyer. Yes, Lincoln, the Negro president, he was a Moor, represented Moors in the federal court, and had a case dismissed because the courts didn't have jurisdiction over Moor.
Any other questions?
No, lots of statements.
Go read
statements. Read the statements.
Let's see. Brother, practical play. Nice. That's my boy. Together is so much easier.
Yeah, national principles. Yeah, restoring national principle, Moorish national principle.
United States is did I read this already? Is a corporation doing business in Morocco. Eisenhower relinquished jurisdiction in Morocco in August 1952 based on...
Let's stop right there. I'm glad. Whoever his brother was that wrote this statement, now, more evidence. How can you go to the United States court in Morocco to do business in Morocco, and even their consular, the United States Foreign Affairs, does not acknowledge any jurisdiction? What you mean? That does not recognize any diplomatic relationship with Morocco. So how can you go to court and get a remedy? And the United States don't recognize themselves as having any diplomatic affairs with Morocco, period. If the United States doesn't have a consul in Morocco, How can you go in the federal court and get a remedy? And the council don't even have jurisdiction to be doing business here. You see, this is all evidence right here. There's no, hear me out. If the United States withdraw, what you mean, Shem? They withdraw. That means the council is the only lawful authority to help a United States citizen in a foreign land. So if the United States withdraw the council's jurisdiction, that means the State Department, the United States government, period, does not have any jurisdiction, period, dealing with Morocco or more, his body, his resources, his assets, anything. So how you going to a federal court after the judge will rule for you and protect your rights, and your damn president of the United States saying that United States citizens doesn't have any rights to protect in Morocco? Come on now. Well, how are you going to be protected? Next question, go ahead.
Well, the end of the statement says, based on this alone, they have no right to abduct anyone.
Absolutely. And you have no right. And when you go through that courtroom, see, let me say something. They may not like Shem, man, I got back, but tell you the truth. When you walk into that federal courtroom and file a document, do you have you been granted asylum? Have you been granted have you been given what you call a snitch? What do you give a foreman? They give a foreman what do you call it, Abdullah? They give a foreman what they call a snitch. They snitch on you. They give him what? I forgot what they call
immunity.
You don't have no immunity. You have a diplomatic immunity. You have immunity from the United States government. Mm-hmm. And you go in the court, file a document, demand the judge to do something for you as if you're a government official. Then you put a document that you are exempt as a what? As a counsel. Now you don't commit a fraud. You don't commit a fraud against your own self. Because you're not no damn counsel. You know you ain't elected by the board of government as the counsel, so you wouldn't commit fraud now. See, this will happen. And you wonder why they would get you to the court when you're crying now, when they lock you up and put a needle in your arm, you sit there slobbing out your mouth, they tell you to take a deal for 30 years, and you crying, no, that's wrong. I'm a more you in my land, but you in that courtroom. You got a business in there. The only one got a right to protect the international law is a counsel, a diplomatic officer, a minister, a foreign minister, ambassador. They got immunity. Their house, their minister, their cabinet, their house they live at, their cabinet, their assistants, their driver, all of them got diplomatic immunity because they represent their foreign government. So how can the United States put an executive order together and say, we no longer represent any United States nationals in Morocco? If they're not protecting their nationals in Morocco, and you in Morocco going to a foreign jurisdiction, asking them to protect you, what do you think? What's going to happen? They're going to lock you up.
Next question.
Yes.
Is it true that Johnny Cochran was seeking reparations for the so-called Black/Moors?
Let me say something. See, when we say something, you got to remember who you're talking to. Now, you said, shit, was Johnny Cochran? I said, no. You know why? Because he's forbidden to do this. He's a member of the bar. He was not well schooled on jurists and doing this. He had no knowledge about this. If he did, he would never become a district attorney or a lawyer. So, no, I would say, no, there's no documents. There's no work to that. In play, he was going to do that. As a matter of fact, Johnny Cochran never came out privately in a magazine or article or news story or book that he was going to do that. So I have to say no.
Let me address reparations. I'm gonna say no. All right. I'm gonna say yes and no. Verbally, that was the claim. Oh. But in law, he was not seeking reparation. Let me explain.
That's right. That's right.
No. I want y'all to please look it up. Please don't say Abdullah said anything. The subject of reparations falls in the category of international law. nation of nation, injuring a nation. So no, Johnny Cochran was not seeking reparations in law. To my law, I'm not talking about what he said. I'm talking about in actual law, he was not, because black people is no such people. So therefore, he could not, in law, talking international law, look up reparations in the category that it falls under, international law, dealing with nations, injuring another nation. That's the category. Look it up. I don't want people to say Abdullah said anything. So no, he was not in law. He was not verbally, that's said, but in true actual law, in the topic of international law and reparations, he was not. So those of our people who's pushing the reparations in actual law, they're not pushing it, because black people's no such people. They're playing with us. That's why the courts can't decide on it. That's why they'll dismiss it. They're playing with us.
Well, didn't reparations pass in California?
It was what? What happened? The courts denied it. It went to court. The courts denied it. Why? Because it's in the venue of international law. The court, look it up. Naja, the courts denied it in California. The court denied it. It went to court. It went to court. I know you're talking about legislation.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about there was a court action. The courts denied it. California state court denied it. And then they're now going to Washington, D.C.
Right. It was affirmed by the Supreme Court of California, not appealed to the United States Supreme Court. You're right. Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to say this right here. I have never heard Johnny Cochran in an open statement or the news show or the post or the social media or in the book or about even by one of his colleagues, even representing a foundation or entity, organization, make a claim that he was going to represent black people to the international community or reparation. I never heard that. What I'm saying is that I never seen his literature. See, I'm going by what he's saying openly in social media and on the public media, also in books and private news shows. He gave private sessions, talks with private news anchors, and I never heard Johnny Cochran at any time make a claim that he was going to an international body represent black people on this claim. Now, I'll say this right. Only one I heard that made an open statement that woke us up that blacks is creatures of the law and does not exist was Barack Obama on Tom Joyner's show. That's the only man. I'm going about facts now because this is social media. It's open. This man opened his mouth and spoke a revelation, which should be a proper concept.
He did.
He defended himself. He defended himself. He did not let you. He was not going to let the news station, Tom Joyner, and them openly bash him and denationalize him on national TV. As being a jurist, I understand his role in that society. He cannot be labeled as a black person. So he made it clear that a black is a creature of the law.
Yeah, I'm not black. Black's a fiction and law. Yeah.
Remember,
I'm not black. I'm not black. Black is fiction and law.
Remember, the creature of the law is created by the legislative power. United States, Great Britain, France, and Spain, their bodies of governments create Negro, Hispanic, Latino, Puerto Rican. All these names are created by the mother. and the father, which is the legislative branch of these governments. They write a character like Hollywood. Anytime they come with a movie here, they came with Superman, and in 1950 something, they came with a character called Superman. So what happened was the director wrote a character and wrote a script for a character actor called Superman. Therefore, it brought in reality a creature of the law, a fiction. It brought a fiction of the mind into existence. I mean, someone that would never that never existed, that won't have that power. There'll be no man with that kind of power in the body. So they created fiction. So they created a black man, an Indian, a Negro. They created the same thing. They got not called Marvel Comics or DC Comics. So a black Negro or color is not a DC comic. That's what it is. Yeah. A fiction in law. Somebody knows this. A cartoon character.
Yeah, it's a fiction. No, it's not a people. It's a fiction in law, not a people.
And guess what? It got a creator. United States Congress, the British Crown, the Spanish Crown, all these crowns are the creator. They are the director of these characters that's created now. And know what they do? In order to enforce authority over the copyright, remember, this is a patent. A black Negro Indian is a patent of the Crown, United States. So they gotta protect their patent. They patent the Civil Rights Bill, all this stuff. They protecting their cartoon character. They patent them. Don't be taking their patent. That's all they doing. Anything else? Any questions?
Now, this is what I was. Let me just go back to the attorneys then. Classified. This is what they don't know. This is what we're talking about the Moorish classified Negro, color, black attorneys. This is what they don't know. So they'll say black all day long, meaning that they don't know what Barack Obama stated. They don't know what Barack Obama stated for 17 years ago. 17 years ago, because it's doing it for after he was elected the first time. So that was 17 years ago. When he was 8 years in office. Right, so it's a 17 year. Donald Trump, it was Barack Obama, then Donald Trump, 4 years, that's 12 years, and then 3 years right now with 15 years ago. 15 years ago. That's right, 15 years ago. But Tamerson was like almost 2. Yeah, 15 years ago, Barack Obama was elected for first term. So 15 years ago, he appeared on their Tom Jones show, and they took that introduction off because they always he was introduced. Tom Jones introduced him
as the first black president. That's right.
The first black president of the United States. Yep. Barack Obama immediately responded, "I am not black. Black's a fiction in law." Now, of course, that went over attorneys' heads. Classified Negro, color, blacks. Let's not talk about our people. Let's say our people who are attorneys. Our people who are attorneys, that went over their head. Meaning they don't know that. Barack Obama spoke a truth that went over attorneys' heads, and they probably bashed Barack Obama. They probably didn't mean nothing to them. So attorneys listening to classified Negro, color, black, listening to Barack Obama 15 years ago, it didn't mean nothing to them because they really think they're black. So like Barack Obama saying, "I'm not black. Black's a fiction law." The attorneys, classified Negro, color, black, took it as offensive. They took it offensive.
He did not inherit this.
He wants to identify with, because remember, his mother's European. Remember, Barack Obama's mother is European. So they took it as, he don't want to be one of us. He's identifying with the white side of his family. You know what I mean? So that took it like that. It was an offense because they didn't understand what he said. They understand what he said. They didn't. They understand what he said.
Question in the chat is white person a legal fiction in the law also?
Yes. Right. Yes. Yes, it is. I'm gonna tell you why. Now let's look back. See, this is what we gotta do. We gotta step there people and tell us something. See, I'm gonna say this right here. I learned one thing for Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark. Learn how to go back and take your ancestors that's written in these books and go back and evaluate them, the philosophy, and get the proper concept out of them so you can be educated the proper way. Now, your opinions say, some about Moors, no, some about indoctrinated Moors. No, that is a political status. I'm going to show you why. In nature, in culture time, ancient time in nature, if you was white, you consider a leopard, a spotty. You got spots in your melon. I mean, you lost your pygmy, your physical pygmy. You got your large spots in your melon. How I know, Shem, my friend's mother was a leopard. She was real dark skinned, and she had these large spots in her skin like albino, but she lost her melon. Therefore, she became a white person. So when you go back to historic culture, anyone that got melon that has spots in his skin was considered a leopard, meaning a white person. But what the United States did was they propagated that and put a false concept, fictitious conveyed a twist on the language of white. Meaning that, see, in nature, snow is white. We know that. But that's nature. But a man and woman should be looking white. No such thing. Show me a man and woman walking around like snow. It's impossible.
I did see a European woman, man, about 3 years ago, man. She was pale as can be.
Not like snow. I never seen none like snow.
Yeah, she was out that shell. You don't see him every day. Just like you can go by 10 years before you see, man, she was pale as pale can be.
Now watch this. The Abdullah, right? My friend mother was dark skinned, right?
Albino. Now she was no albino. No. This woman, pale can be.
His mother had all these spots that like snow, like real white in her skin, but she was a melanated woman. She had leopards. She had leprosy. So I didn't know what it was till an old timer explained to me that is called leprosy. When your skin turned white, when you got melanin, you lose your melanin. A mutation happened in your skin while you're alive.
Right.
So what they did was they know that they took a bit of twist on it and say after Lincoln got assassinated, they declared the United States citizens as being white citizens, all of them being white. They were declaring their political status, meaning that they were considered alive. They were considered among themselves, they were considered as having rights, as being white, and calling you black as being concealed, hidden. You have no rights. Because something that's hidden, let me say something. If you hide something, it can't be seen. That means if it can't be seen, it don't exist. If somebody says, Shem, I'll cook you a platter, it's on the table. When I go in the room with a table, there's no platter there. And somebody says, oh man, the platter's in the microwave. It's concealed. It can't be seen. So long as the platter's not seen, it don't exist. So by calling you black, you don't exist. That means you put away, you hid. Like all the mysteries of the sea. The sea, my friend been in the Navy, he said, Jay, late at nighttime, the sea water is black like space. It's black. You can't even see nothing. You fall in, you done. He said the water is so black you can't see nothing. See, so by being called black, they look at you as your culture and your nationality being hid. I mean, you don't have a father or mother. You're being hid. You did to what? Reality. You did to all culture, of law, of the land, of people. Because there's no people ever been category as being black. See, let's keep it grammar. If I use a sentence, say, well, there was a black complexion man. There's a black complexion man became president of the United States. Watch this. A black man became president of the United States. That sentence don't read right. Something wrong with that sentence now, because the grammar is not used right. When you say black complexion, you are adjectives describing the verb, the noun. You're describing the noun now. Black complexion. You're describing something.
Yeah, complexion is a noun. Black's an adjective. Yeah.
That's right. So you're describing something.
Yeah.
So when you said black man, when you said black complexion man, everything changed now. When you said black,
it's not yes, not yeah. You're not identifying.
yes.
It doesn't identify.
So the key thing is this right here. We have to understand, I hate to say it, that these people has been a part of DC Comics since 1991. What's the first action cartoon character came away? I'm gonna tell you, a black man, 1991. When Congress got together after the signing treaty with Morocco and turned around past the Legislative Act, and they start calling us all the Negroes and stuff. All these different France came out calling us Negroes. So we are the cartoon character. Yes, we part of DC Comics. Yes, we are. The black man, DC Comics. The black man, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, all the same category. They're fictions.
I have a question. So the term mulatto, where did that come from? Because I noticed that my great-grandfather's birth certificate, that's part of
the race paradigm, mulatto.
Part of the same thing.
It's part of the race paradigm. All right. So So you have Francois Benaire, Carl Linnaeus, Johann Friedrich Boombach. Francois Benaire was in the 1600s. All right. And he actually lived in India for 9 years. And you have Carl Linnaeus also in the 1600s. And then you have actually 1750s, Carl Linnaeus. And then Johann Friedrich Boombach. And then later on, you have others, like other minor ones. Marx, the major one, and there's other Huxley, Huxley, and there's others, a few others names. All right, I'll get them to you. All right, so they further, extended it's still part of the paradigm. It's still that mulatto is still part of that part of the paradigm, though mulatto was not used by Francois Benaire, Johann Friedrich Boombach, and Carl Linnaeus, but they're still part of that same line of paradigm. Marx was early 1800s, and Huxley and others, and that so they expanded and using other terms, but it's still part of that race paradigm.
Yeah, legal ethics. That's right.
Yeah. But even though it was part of that, what does it mean exactly? Does it mean that
I don't know the etymology. I have to look up the etymology. I was just talking about the status.
Oh, it's a status.
Like mulatto, because that's not a nationality, a pedigree, ancestry, because it's still your right. So all right, you're classified as mulatto. Let's talk politically. You're classified as mulatto. Mulatto is not a nationality, a national identity, a pedigree, an ancestry, a lineage, a descent, embodied in a genealogy, a pedigree, ancestry, your family, your pedigrees, family, your family tree, your genealogy, your lineage line, your line of descent, your ancestry, your parentage. All right. If you're identified as mulatto, that stills your birthright.
Yep.
I'm saying that be clear. I want the audience, the listeners, be clear. That it stills your birthright, and it's still part of the race paradigm with Francois Benaire, Carl Linnaeus, Johann Friedrich Boombach, Karl Marx, Huxley, and other few names after that. That's what I want people to take away from that, what I'm saying.
Okay. Statement in the chat. Under international law, a state responsible for an international wrongful act must make full reparation for the injury caused by the internationally wrongful act.
Absolutely. That's called state responsibility. State responsibility, but state responsibility. You have to be of a nation. So reparations falls under international law, but as nations, repairing a nation. Absolutely.
Yep.
Black is not a nation of people.
Yep, restoring to a people what was
and
lost.
so that means the definition is correct. That's all falls under state responsibility. That's a term called state responsibility. We read the definition of state responsibility. I just put the term to it, state responsibility. Oh, we got some people who study international law. All right, state responsibility. All right, I know. You rising up now, moving on up. Yeah. To knowledge of international law, state responsibility, reversion of sovereignty, recovery of law sovereignty, personality of law. Come on, let's lay them down. Come on, statehood. All right, come on, treaty studies. Yeah, all right. Post-millennium, right on.
Are you frozen, Shem?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm right here.
All right, yeah, Kurt, you was
one spot. I know. Go ahead. I'm here.
Incognito. Oh shucks. Yeah. So you got more questions? A statement? This is good, man. This is good.
Yes, sir.
President Obama defends his record on race.
All right, so I think. All right, let's address that. All right, race is a fiction.
Yep.
Race. That's all right.
Yep.
That's all right. Francois Bonaire, Carl Linnaeus, Johann Friedrich Blumenbach. They are the fathers, the Caucasoid, and Mongoloid, and Afrosoid. They classified the human family, but these race, the paradigm, they created the race, Caucasoid, Mongoloid, Afrosoid, and then they put, and then Carl Linnaeus, added, white, black, red, brown, yellow, and then Johann Friedrich Blumenbach added brown category. So you're talking race, you're talking a fiction. That's a political construct. Let's talk nationality. That's all right. United States, 2010. The 2010 census description. United States, 2010. United States has, this is a violation of international law, y'all. United States has race codes for all nationalities. They have white, 001 is white. That's the white race code, 01, white. And they have list about 40 nations. 40 nations under that. They have black, 02, race code, black, and 40 nations under that. They have 03, Alaska, Indian, Alaskan Native, or Indian, 03, and nations under that. So nationalities are classified under race codes in the United States. I got the whole thing, 2010 census description.
So what happened is going on. Let me explain what's going on here. If you go to a factory or a manufacturing plant, when they make something, the director of the creator of that product have to give it a name. Why do they give it a number and a name? Because that way he control his merchandise. See, the United States could not control the Moors because they were protected by treaties of Moroccan or Moors. So what they did was they created a paradigm of what? Of merchandise. I mean, they took the misname of the Moors so they can confiscate the Moors now as private and personal merchandise, property of the United States. How? Because if they claim to wear that tag or that mask or the costume, they're property of the United States. So this is the United States usurping their jurisdiction over the Moor through conquest. Very important. The moment they did that, The moment they said you were black, you became merchandise of the United States. I mean, now you're not a Moor anymore. You United States creature of the law. I mean that you are their Frankenstein, and they are your what? They are your Dr. Frankenstein. Yes, they are your creator, Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein.
He's right. He's right. That, and he's doing a great. I love the analogy. Great analogy.
Why do you think when you go into a clothes store and the man and the fashion designer got a patent on design and name of the clothes? Once that design goes out for that factory, a manufacturing plant, it's protected by the creator through a patent number, by the name, his name. He puts the designer name on that fabric of that design, and what that name is, the name is patent and design is patent. So the same with the United States. When they take and create a creature of the law like a black and take all these different nationalities and place them under black, what they just did, took all these people outside their nationality claims and took their birthright and stole it. So now they use you have merchandise. Why? They come back and say they can confiscate you, they can write laws, they can write acts, laws, and codes to protect you. Why? Because you're their property. You're the state property. How you become state property? By these names, these racial logical names they give you. Racial ethics. That's all it is. Legal ethics. I mean, if they can't enforce their laws and use your sureties and guarantors, and they can't capture you. So if they do, what they give you a name, a title, and you become their property. Therefore, they can confiscate their property. They can pass laws any kind of way they want to protect their property. They can usurp jurisdiction to rule, make decisions on their property.
This is very important. We got to discuss it like this. We have to discuss it the other way that's being discussed, because they're talking, because our people are talking as if we're black. Like, they're not talking the way, they're not discussing the way Shem is discussing it. Shem is doing a great job, and I love the analogies he brings up.
Another question in the chat. Is it possible that we could talk about what the difference is between the Moroccan Empire and the Moroccan Kingdom? Because a lot of people think that the kingdom is the empire.
Shem,
we talked about that last week.
Let me explain what's going on here.
Let Shem talk this real quick, and then we got to go more.
Okay, what's happened is the kingdom of Morocco is kinship heirs. It's coming out of these European family houses. I'm gonna say this. Yes, you notice that all the people that control the Arab world are what? Like Albions. See, what we don't know is that they're coming from blood pedigree. That's why they marry each other. You know, they always marry one look just like them. Blood pedigree. And we the last people to understand what's going on here. So what's happening, the Kingdom of Morocco was formed by the Liberation Council. Yes, a Liberation Council of Muslim followers, a follower of the Mohammedanism, Muslims, took and say that the people that follow Mohammedanism in that region had their right to be free because they were Moors and Muslims and Moors and Muslims. And they claimed their right to be free based on treaties and the Quran. And what happened was the Liberation Council went before the United Nations and claimed itself to be a sovereign state within Morocco. That's why it's called a Kingdom of Morocco. It's not Morocco, it's the of Morocco, which means a political provincial government of people operating a political jurisdictional powers in Morocco. That's all it is. It was created in 1956. So Morocco signed treaties back in 1500s, back in the 14th and the 16th. How can the world ever be Morocco now? This was created in 1956. See, this is the problem is wrong concept. See, we start getting afraid. So, oh no, that's Morocco. We can't do that. No, that's not true. If you go back to the UN records, the database, that provincial government did not exist until 1956. It was acknowledged as a state in Morocco. It's not the Kingdom of Morocco. It's not Morocco, the empire, the nation. It is a kingdom, a provincial government operating sovereign territory in the empire of Morocco. That's it. But Morocco pre-exists 16, 15, Go all the way back to when the Sultans fought the Pope of Rome and conquered and made a Pope of Rome, gave up Jerusalem. This is very important. When they conquered, when Pope Muhammad conquered the Roman Empire through the Sultans. See, this is very important. So how can Morocco exist back then, and now all of a sudden it's a new state, is resurrected as a new body in 1956? Doesn't make any sense. See what I'm saying? There's no clarity on that. There's no fact finding on that at all. So to make it clear, Morocco always existed. The kingdom of Morocco, the kingdom, what's the kingdom? A political, jurisdictional body of people follow Mohammedanism as a community, operating as a provincial government in the empire of, modern, in the empire of Morocco. That's it. Anything else?
And then what they do is try to retroact it and use our history that I have in Moors and Masonry, Part 1. They try to claim to the history that I have in Moors and Masonry, Part 1. And that's not them. That's us.
So I said, Shem, where's your proof? Go online right now and type in the one of the wealthiest rulers of the Saudi Arabia married a wife. I watched this from the house of a French family house, Albions. What's going on here, Shem? Why is this man claim to be a Moor, father Mohammedanism, marrying from a royal house, a woman from the royal house of France as his wife? What's going on here? What's going on here is they're not giving the birthright. They're making a matriarch woman marry somebody in that blood lineage, that descent. They would not give it up to a melanated Moor. They would not give it up to a Moor who got melanin from a visible pygmy. It would not matter. That's why you'll never see no Arab nation, a woman or a man marry a Moor, a melanated Moor with visible pygmy and carbon and dark and burnt carbon in his skin. You would never see that.
Let me provide more evidence, Shem. Let me provide more evidence. All right. Let me provide more evidence.
I see a lot of women, Muslim women from Morocco who are married to melanated men here, more so than other countries.
Let me provide evidence that the Moors look like us. Let me provide evidence.
That who look like Moroccan? That who look like us?
Look like us. That we are those people. That look like me. Let me find evidence.
Why are you looking for it? See. Who signed the Treaty of Peace?
No, I have it in my head.
Oh, go ahead.
Evidence in my head. He said, look, it's my head. Yes. All right. All right. Let's look at. Let's look at. Start with coat of arms. The coat of arms. J. Rogers' book. Nature knows no color line. So see, we have to be able to defend our position. Nature knows no color line. J. Rogers, chapter 6, the Negro as Moor and the European coat of arms, aristocratic families. He shows pictures of dark olive Moors and European family crest and coat of arms. Also, throughout Europe, there's statues. Germany, Sweden, England, even in Southern Europe, there's statues and statuettes and paintings. So how is it? All right. That's why we got to be able to defend our position. I need your help, y'all. I need your help. I need you to be able to stand strong and defend our position. So, you said that Moors look like what? You said Moors look like what? You said Moors look like the people you say look that's on TV. If I go to YouTube, the Kingdom of Morocco, and I see news reporters and stuff, and I Google, you said Moors look like, you said we're not Moors because Moors, all right, no problem. You should be able to defend that. No problem. Let's go to J. Rogers' book. All right. Let's look, Google Moors and European coat of arms. Look at the statues. How is it they don't look like the statues? They don't look like the people in this European coat of arms. Oh, let's look at Blackamoor. Blackamoor. All right. Let's go to the Black Knight movie. Black Knight, played by that movie Martin Lawrence, but 5 times.
Yep,
five scenes where Martin Lawrence's character is called Moor.
Yep.
Oh, let's go to Othello, the Moor. Let's go to Robin Hood. Let's go to The Long Ships, played by Cynthia Portier. Oh, why they got these people that look like me playing the character the Moor? Why don't they have people that look like the people that's in the kingdom? You got to be able to defend the position. Means that you got to know more. You got to study. You have to know so that you can shut people down. You got to shut them down. Shut them down.
Yes, sir. Abdullah, one last thing. Professor Abdullah, right. Go back to the 16th century when William Penn sat down with the Pontiac and Leonard Abbey Moors. William Penn gave a perfect description of the Moors. He said they have burnt skin like coal.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. William Penn, 16th century.
Yes.
Now, wait.
Let's bring. I'll take the chance to find. Yes.
William Penn.
Description of the. Yes, he does. William Penn gives a description
of the Pontiac and then the Abbey Moors. That's right.
The complexion. And he emphasizes it too. Good. I forgot about that same thing.
He said burnt like coal. He said burnt like coal. Yes. That's what he said.
Yes.
So you're telling me the 16th century Esquire is gonna sit here and tell a lie about us? What do you got to gain?
You know what I gotta bring? We gotta have that for next week. I gotta get find that. Yes. We'll talk. Yes. That's William Penn's what? Give me a source.
William Penn relationship with the Leonard Abbeys.
All right. There you go. That's the source. Yes. I do remember that. Yes, Shem is right on that.
This type of William Penn description of the ancient Leonard Abbey people. Watch what comes up. Now remember now, you cannot be tricked. The Pontiacs and Leonard Abbeys were Moors. What happened was the British Crown called them Indians to strip away their status as Moors, as sovereigns, and made them subject of their crown. Very important.
Yes. All right. Let me provide it. Like I said, we got to be able to provide evidence, y'all. And then also Blackamoor. Let me just get Blackamoor. Blackamoor from 1500 to 1800. Blackamoor was predominantly used. It was interchanged. It was used synonymous. Blackamoor was synonymously used with Negro and Ethiopian for 300 years, for a 300-year period. In the 1560 and 1590 Geneva Bible, you have Blackmore and Jeremiah 10, 38:10, and 4 or 5 Jeremiah verses, and then I think 2 others, and then you see the 1560, 1599 Geneva Bible, Blackmore, and then the 1611. They substituted in the 1611 King James Version. They replaced Blackmore with Ethiopia. In 1611, right?
Yes.
So then you have, I'm not done, J. Rogers' book, Nature Notes of Caline, chapter 6. He gives many references where Blackamoor's used in plays, short stories. Blackmore was predominantly used for 300-year period between 1500 to 1800, and was used interchangeably and synonymously with Negro and Ethiopian. So now we ain't Moors, but we're black. We're not Moors. Blackamoor is Blackmore. It's a compound word. I mean black. More. Now, in the 1599 Geneva Bible, and I presented this, and we'll present it again next week. We're going to have the King James Version as well. The 1599 Geneva Bible, It's Black Moor. Black is lowercase, Moor is capitalized. Why is Black lowercase and Moor capitalized? Black space Moor. Why is Black lowercase and Moor capitalized? The evidence is there, my brothers and sisters. Just use it. Use the evidence. You must be able to defend our position. All right. I guess on that we can end, right? Been rocking for almost 3 hours, which is good. Been a great 3 hours. Great 3 hours. Great 3 hours.
Definitely. Yep. Closing remarks.
No time. Where am I?
You need to change position.
It is something, but didn't go through the window. Dino and them went through the window. Oh man.
Closing remarks. Who wants to go first? Abdullah.
Yeah, Shem. Closing remarks.
Yes, just keep going forward. Come together, assemble yourself together. If it start from three, and let it lead to 4, and reach out to people you inside. Go to certain places, like if you're a senior and you go inside a senior home, just discuss certain things among yourself, that you're part of a group, or if you or somebody part of a recreation center, you do a recreation center, recreation programs. Just give it to people and say, listen, let's come together and start having meetings where we can do better for ourselves financially. We can go ahead and plan strategy and plan what we can do among ourselves and assist ourselves. That's how you build your groups up.
We know what to do. They don't need to. They need to. Now, Shem, they don't need to figure out nothing. They come. They learn. No. Let's be clear on this. Let's clear. We're giving them the blueprint. Moroccan Post Media YouTube page. We don't want to leave the people astray. Moroccan Post Media YouTube page. We have the Moorish Body Politic Formation classes. There's 12 classes, right? They're free. We have the Moorish Treaty Protection and Consular Relations course. All right, 101 and 102 on the Moroccan Post Media YouTube page. All right, they don't need to be. We want to guide them. All right, we have the Shem Bey plan, Chapter 8, Moorish Masonry Part 2. We have the background of Shem's background. We're going to be giving people clear direction. All right, and clear instruction. So they don't need to go to any body and say to them, let's figure out what to do. They need to go with the plan. They don't need to go among anybody.
Guide them to the.
No. Hear me out, Shem. I know, because this is because we got to give them clear instructions, brother. We can't. Brother, I got Shem. Trust me, brother. I got 35 years, brother, going back to college. 35 years, dealt with thousands of people. If you don't give people a roadmap and clear instructions, if you go among people with no plan, we want them to go among people with a plan, with knowledge. They're not going to listen to them if they don't exude knowledge, a plan, a direction. We want them to go amongst people with a clear plan, a clear direction, a clear focus. The people won't listen to them if they don't have a clear plan, a clear direction, a clear focus. Moroccan, I agree with that. Shem, I got 35 years, brother.
I agree. You're right. You're right.
5 years.
Yeah.
Moroccan Post Media YouTube page. We're not coming on Morocco. We're not coming on the Mayat University figuring anything out. We ain't coming like that. We're coming with clear focus. A clear plan of action. So Shem Bey plan, Chapter 8, More the Masonry Part 2, Shem Bey's background. All right? We are clear on focus. We ain't confused. We ain't trying to figure nothing out. Oh, no, we ain't coming like that. And I'm not coming off arrogant. I'm just coming from experience. If you don't have a clear focus, sense of direction, people are not going to listen to you.
I agree with that. I learned from experience. You're absolutely right.
I've been involved with the Million Woman March, Million Man March, Million Family March, Million Youth March, NAACP back in college, first Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. I got experience in being involved. That was thousands of people. You got to give people a clear focus, a clear sense of direction. We ain't trying to figure nothing out.
You got it. Go to Rockin' Post.
You gotta be firm. You gotta be firm in your position.
You got to go there and you got to educate yourself. That way you draw somebody to that page with you as a community. You all sit down and learn. They find out where you got your information from. You got it from the proper source. They'll learn, y'all.
Exactly. Now that's how we're gonna be talking. We ain't coming on my university talking like we don't know what we're talking about. No way. Trying to figure, no way. We ain't talking like that.
Okay, that's our final thought.
That's the Rockin' Post Media YouTube page and mooresandmasonry.org. All right. Till next time, same back channel, same back time. All right, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Thursday.
Peace, everybody.
All right, please subscribe to Mayat University YouTube page. What's that? Mayat DMV.
Mayat TV-DMV.
Mayat TV-DMV. They're on it now. Let people know about it. Right. Please share this. Please share this and post this. All right, and let the people know about it. Share the wealth. All right, peace, everyone.
Peace.
Peace.